Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a very long time since I put up a full-length video, but you know, life was in the way. Life was lifing. In today's video, we are gonna go through the books that I read in July, which just ended, and we're gonna go through my TBR for August. So if you're interested in seeing what I read and what I'm about to read, hopefully, please keep on watching. So I am in what one would call a reading slump. I only read 4 books. I only read 4 books in July. I keep starting books and then getting like 20 pages in and then being like, and then just forgetting. It's not necessarily even bad books. I just be forgetting that I was reading books. And then I start another book, and then I start another book, and then all of a sudden I have like 6 books started and I'm not interested in any one of them anymore. And so I go shopping at Indigo and I buy 5 more books, and I'm just like, maybe I should read the 130 books that is already on my TBR instead of buying more books, but I'm not interested in reading the books. Anyways, the point is, I only read 4 books, but you know, it's 4 books closer to my goal. I think I'm at 46 books this year so far, and my goal for the year was 52, 1 per week. So yeah, I have a lot of weeks left in the year. I believe that after I'm done the 5 that I just added to my TBR, or once I get to 52, I'm just gonna like not care about the goal. Let's just go through the books that we read this month. I believe the first book that I read was Happy Place by Emily Henry. This one, we go through Harriet and Win is his name. Harriet and Win. We're going through kind of, okay, so they broke up, right? Okay, so they broke up. They didn't tell their friends, and every year them and their friends have this like trip where they go to their, is it the Martha's Vineyard or something? Oh, they go to a cottage in Maine, and because they haven't told their friends are expecting them to act a certain way, and then something happens when they first arrive that they're like, okay, now would not be the best time to tell them what's going on, that we actually broke up and then we're not together and da 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 da. So we're kind of going through their week in Maine, of them trying to put on a front for their friends that they're not together, but also trying not to confront the feelings that they still have for each other, because they were like engaged to be married and everything. Wow, now I really resonate with this. That's crazy. So I think I gave this book 4 stars on Goodreads. It was good, but at the same time I was just like, some part of it I was like, I don't really understand why we're in this predicament when we could just talk to each other. Like, I understand why they broke up, and I also understand, but I don't understand, I don't know, something about the ending was just weird to me. So this book we gave 4 stars. That was my first book of the month. I think this was the only Emily Henry, next to Great Big Beautiful Life, that I haven't read yet. Next we read Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez, I think at the end of this month. No, I was about to lie, but I read Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. This one is so cute. I give this one 5 stars. Yeah, Abby Jimenez is that girl for me. This one, it says, a novel of terrible first impressions, hilarious second chances, and the joy in finding your perfect match. When I tell you, this story was so beautiful. So basically it's kind of like a, one side it's a rivals to lovers romance. Basically the main character, Brianna, she is having a lot of things happening in her life right now, but one of the things that she has going for her is that she's up for a promotion at work, and then there's also a new dude that started, what's his name, Jacob. He just started at the hospital. He's really also good at his job, and it turns out that he's also up for the promotion that she was supposed to be a shoo-in for. And so now, you know, she has a lot of animosity towards him. She's prejudging him, as we all do, and you know, turns out that he's not as bad as she's assuming that he is. And then we just kind of find out more about Jacob, which like, we find out more about Jacob, which is like, he's such a good character, a good book boyfriend. He's a good representation of what humans are really like. And I like that this relationship, minus one little part, is a good representation of what relationships are really like, where people bring in their baggage. Oh, maybe this should have been my favorite book of July, where people bring in their baggage and they just learn to work through it together. That's basically what this book is about. So I gave this one a 5 stars. I loved it. No notes. The third book we read was The Perfect Son by Frida McFadden. Like I said, I am in a slump. I have been trying to read romance thriller back and forth in order to like keep myself interested in reading, and this was a good thriller. I think the female main character is the mother of 2 teenagers, and her son is kind of like on trial, you would say, on trial through the press, through like the investigation, but not actually, for harming or disappearing something. Oh yeah, for about a girl who disappeared from their community the night before or something. So we're trying to unravel the mystery. What happened to the girl? What does the son have to do with it? And what does anybody else have to do with it? I can't give you anything else, but this one was good. I think I gave this one 3 stars. It was okay. It wasn't like amazing. It wasn't Frida's best work personally, but it was good. It's all right. I finished it, so you know. Final book we read in July was Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. I loved this book. It was so good. When I tell you, my emotions were all over the place reading this. I read this on my e-reader, and I was so tempted to flip forward in it, because I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Does the title say something about it? Is the things that's happening in the book? I was so, oh my god, let me talk about it. Okay. So basically, it's like people falling in love at the wrong time and what they're doing to get over it. And again, as Abby Jimenez does, with people having their own baggage and things going on in their life that they have to kind of overcome or acknowledge to make their relationship work. I love that her books are so realistic. They're realistic in terms of like the scenarios people find themselves in, not necessarily realistic in the way things are resolved, but you know, the things that people find themselves in are so realistic. She has so much going on in her life. He also has things going on in his life, and it's crazy how asking for help or talking about it or even just acknowledging it makes such a huge difference in people's lives. So I loved this book. This was a 6 star for me. This is like one of my favorite books. I think this one, and a character from this one appears in this one as well. When I tell you, I was so gagged to see that. Now I know the satisfaction of reading an interconnected standalone. This was a 6 star for me, and those were all the books that we read in July. Like I said, slow month, but you know, 4 books is better than 0 books. And I think in June or May I only read 3 books, so like, can we really complain? It's better than 0. And even if I only read 0, that's still fine. It's not a big deal. Now on to my August TBR. The first book on our TBR is Belladonna by Adeline Grace, and I am 10% through it. I already started it. Hold on. And how do I get to the front page? How do I get to the front cover? I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to work this thing, but I am reading I'm reading Belladonna by Adeline Grace. I love this book. So far it's giving romantasy. I feel like I've been reading romantasy, but at the same time I haven't been reading romantasy. And if this is what This is gonna end the way I think it will end. I'm only 10% in. I don't really know. I think it'll be a fun little kickstart to my reading journeys. According to Google Books, it says, orphaned as a baby, 19-year-old Signa has been raised by a string of guardians, each one more interested in her wealth than her well-being, and each has met an untimely end. Her remaining relatives are the elusive Hawthorns, an eccentric family living at Thorngrove, an estate both glittering and gloomy. Its patriarch mourns his late wife through wild parties, while his son grapples for control of the family's waning reputation, and his daughter suffers from a mysterious illness. But when their mother's restless spirit appears, claiming she was poisoned, Signia realizes that the family she depends on could be in grave danger, and enlists the help of a surly stable boy to help hunt down the killer. Also, okay, I'm not inside. However, Signia's best chance of uncovering the murderer is an alliance with Death himself, a fascinating, dangerous shadow who has never been far from her side. Though he's made her life a living hell, Death shows Signia that their growing connection may be more powerful and more irresistible than she ever dared imagine. And it's doing exactly that so far. For me, I feel like it's gonna get like a 4-star, but it's like a fantasy. It's like a girl figuring out a murder with Death as her sidekick so far, okay? The next book that I plan on reading is Rouge by Mona Awad. There's a second Bunny coming out, by the way, in October, I think. The follow-up to Bunny, her first novel. I don't know if it's her first novel, but it's the first novel that I read by her, and I am so stoked. If I ever thought of like a TBR list or like books that are on the horizon that I want to read, that's the first one. I think it's called We Love You, Bunny, and it's from the perspective of the other girls that were in the cult. Girl. Anyways, this is called Rouge. It says Belle is obsessed with beauty, just like her estranged mother, Noelle. When Noelle mysteriously dies, Belle returns to Southern California, grappling with the lingering questions surrounding her mother's death. Soon after the funeral, a cryptic video about a transformative spa experience lures Belle to La Maison de Medius, the same lavish, culty spa to which her mother was devoted. There, Belle discovers the frightening secret behind her obsession with her reflection and what lurks beyond the glass. With black humor and seductive horror, Rouge holds up a warped mirror to our relationship with mortality, the cult-like nature of the beauty industry, and the danger of internalizing its pitiless gaze. Okay, I am like 50 pages in. Oh, 40 pages in. I'm at 40 pages in. And when I tell you I'm already so intrigued by this book, I love Mona Awad's writing. I think she's like my favorite newly discovered author, because Abby Jimenez, Emily Henry, Frida McFadden, all these people I already knew from before, but Mona Awad and the next author I'm going to talk about are quickly becoming like my favorite authors, like my favorite discovered authors this year. Speaking about favorite discovered authors, my next book is going to be Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I've only read one book from her, but I have a bunch on my TBR, but I've only read one. And I think the one I read was Maybe in Another Life. I think that's what it's called, where we kind of follow two different timelines. Yeah, where we follow two different timelines of decision making from the main character. This one, all I know is that it's a love story and it takes place in space. But she writes really good literary fiction interwoven with the love story. Like for me, it feels like when I read Maybe in Another Life, it felt like, yes, it felt like romance was a subplot, but the main plot was about the main character. Hopefully this is gonna give the same vibe. It says Joan Goodwin has been obsessed with the stars for as long as she can remember. She's content with her life as a professor of physics and astronomy and as aunt to her precocious niece Frances, until she comes across an advertisement seeking the first woman scientist to join NASA's space shuttle program. Oh, this is old. Oh. Suddenly, Joan burns to be one of the few people to go to space. Selected from a pool of thousands of applicants in the summer of 1980, Joan begins training at Houston's Johnson Space Center alongside an exceptional group of fellow candidates, Top Gun pilot Hank Redmond and scientist John Griffin. Easygoing even when the stakes are high. Okay, mission specialist Lydia Danes, who has worked too hard to play nice, warm-hearted Donna Fitzgerald navigating her own secrets, and Vanessa Ford, the magnetic and mysterious aeronautical engineer who can fix any engine and fly any plane. As they become unlikely friends and prepare for their first flights, Joan finds a love she never imagined. In this new light, Joan begins to question everything she thinks she knows about her place in the observable universe. Then, in December of 1984, on mission STS-LR9, it all changes in an instant. The fast-paced, thrilling, and emotional atmosphere is TJR at her best, telling a passionate and soaring story about the transformative power of love, this time among the stars. And look at this cover. First of all, I hate these edges. Who made this decision? Who made this decision to have these ugly edges here? But look at the cover. That's so pretty. Is it on both sides? I don't remember. It is on both sides. Ah, it's so pretty. Was that a stain? Is that a stain? No, it just looks like that because the cover is ugly. Ugh, I hate these pages. Anyways, this is our third read of the month. Our fourth read is something I picked up just because the cover looked bomb. I was actually also gonna pick up this book. I don't remember what it's called, but it was by Logic. It was his second novel. His first novel, Supermarket, was actually fire when I first read it. I need to get that back from my boyfriend now that I think about it. His first novel, Supermarket, was fire. And his second one is more like a sci-fi type thing. I don't remember what it's called, but I think in the future I want to get that book as well. But beside it was this, and I was like, I vibe with this cover way more. It's called Next to Heaven by James Frey. Look at this. Isn't that so interesting looking? It's okay. So it says New Bethlehem, Connecticut. Picture perfect lawns, manicured hedges, multi-million-dollar homes. In this world of excess, best friends Devin Kensington McAllister, not the McAllisters, Kevin? Oh, Devin Kensington. Okay, Home Alone. And Belle Hedges Moore seems I'm sorry, the names are killing me. Seem to have it all. Beauty, money, status, but they long for something more, something dangerous, something that makes them feel alive. They're best friends? Okay. Their solution? A party. One party to make you feel alive? That's weird. An exclusive gathering of New Bethlehem's elite. A desperate NFL quarterback, a demure housewife, a preternaturally sexy hockey coach with a penchant for married women, and a ruthless Wall Street closer who wields his wealth like a weapon. One summer night, a whirlwind of secrets and betrayals. One summer night, a whirlwind of secrets and betrayals, and a murder that will shatter New Bethlehem's carefully constructed facade. In this searing new novel, James Frey demonstrates his unflinching passion for the way men and women talk, think, love, hate, and hurt one another, offering a remarkable new view of the underbelly of the American dream, a world where money can buy anything until it ruins everything. Something about this. Basically, I think a murder happens, and okay, I don't like the way it's written. I don't know, something about the way it's written. Where are the indentations? Where is the paragraphs? What is this? I don't like the way it's written, but I also decided not to look on Goodreads to see like what the reviews were or anything like that. This is what the spine looks like, the back looks like. It's beautiful. And we are gonna read The Poppy War, the first book in the Poppy War trilogy. I thought it was called something else. It's by R.F. Kuang. I think it's her debut novel? Question mark? I think it's her debut novel. Yes, a best fantasy debut of the year. Maybe it's just her fantasy debut. But I've only heard good things about. I've never heard anything negative about this book ever. I've never heard anybody say that it's boring. I've never heard anybody say the build-up is slow. I've only ever heard good things about this series, and I'm really in the mood to start like a good fantasy series. After I read Belladonna, I don't think I'm gonna continue with the series, but I think this is gonna be my next series. When War Orphan Rin aced the Kiju, an empire-wide test. Why am I glitching right now? An empire-wide test to find the most talented youth to learn at the academics. She surprised everyone. Test officials, the guardians who wanted to marry her off and further their criminal enterprise, and even herself. But being a dark-skinned peasant girl from the south is not easy at Sinagard, the most elite military school in Nikon. I hope I'm saying those words right. Targeted by rival classmates for her color, poverty, and gender, Rin discovers that gods long thought dead are very much alive, and that she possesses a lethal, unearthly power. An aptitude for the nearly mythical art of shamanism that could be the weapon the Empire desperately needs. While Nikara is at peace, its enemy and former occupiers, the Federation of Mugen, bides its time, and a third Popular is just a spark away. Rin's shamanic powers may be the only way to save her people. Yet as she discovers more about the god that has chosen her, the vengeful phoenix. Oh, I think it's just orange because of the phoenix, maybe. The vengeful phoenix. She fears that winning the Marm may cost her humanity, and it may already be too late. It comes from East Asian history and the Second Sino-Japanese War. I knew this lady was smart because the way she wrote Yellowface was insane. But this looks like a good fantasy novel. This looks like very political fantasy, whereas I usually read like romantic fantasy. Anyways, those are the 5 books that I plan to read this month and the 4 books that I read in July. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.